Heyo, my Planetcoaster friends, Capital Thrills here, and welcome back to the second episode, or not the second episode, third episode of Planetcoaster Hard Mode. And today we'll be working on our very first roller coaster, so stay tuned and let's check it out. Alrighty guys, so as previously mentioned, we are working on our very first roller coaster of this park. Now, the key for me to making this roller coaster is trying to base it off some real life creations like Vortex at Kings Island and Viper at 65 Mountain Mountain, and those kind of things. Just to, add some realism, because that's what, like I said in the beginning of the whole series, I want to keep this as realistic as possible. However, throughout this episode, we may be doing some unrealistic things to our staff members to try and make a profit because this park, as soon as you lose some money, it takes a while to get it back. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. However, though, with that being said, right now we are already working on the turnaround and the first drop of the attraction. Now, unfortunately, do not think I got the size of how big the drop should be, but, it overall works. Now, you can probably already tell that this is inspired by Vortex and Kings Island because just how it turns around and then it goes up into the lift hill like that. But with that being said, we're not going to go into the turnaround just yet like it does in real life. However, we're going to go and do some inverting first just to get the highest thrill factor up and going because we just want to leave people hanging there especially with the awkward drop like this one because honestly, I do not think a drop like an aerodynamics custom looper like this is supposed to look like that. But you know what? We're just going to go with it. We're not going to mention that it's probably really awkward and that kind of thing. And as you can see, we're already running into money issues. Not necessarily because the park's doing bad or anything, but that's because of the fact we just don't have very much money yet. Which honestly is what I'm very excited for with this coaster. That we'll finally be able to get a good... Now moving on to the midway point of this ride's creation, we have now finished the turnaround for this, and as well as the ending bit of this coaster. Now the thing is, with this ending bit, I wanted to feel like Kings Island's Vortex and how it's laid out, because if some of you may know, Vortex has a Batwing element right there before it goes into the helix into the brake run. So I want to have that similar type of element, just to give it to like path interaction kind of thing. And then overall, I think the sinking road would be nice right there. However, now right here we're working on the turnaround. Now, I unfortunately forgot to put this part in the video. Either that, unless the recording stopped right in the middle of it. So, by the way, pardon me about that. But I mean, and again, it's just a simple little turnaround, which is also supposed to work as a pathway element kind of thing. So yeah, that kind of thing. Now, for those of you who don't know what kind of coaster this is an aerodynamics custom looper, and Aerodynamics was a company back in that was developed in the early '60s and lasted all the way up to the early 2000s before it finally went bankrupt. And they were the ones that pioneered in all the steel roller coaster manufacturing. So the other spiraling off companies like B&M, Intamin, all those, they all came from pretty much the start of Aerodynamics, because once they broke up, after that they all went and formed their own separate companies, including Alan Shoki, who now works for Rocky Mountain Construction and has designed some of the world's greatest steel roller coasters or hybrids, I should say, out of him. So, Aerodynamics, I think they were a major player in the music industry, and I will always have a soft spot for them, even though some people don't like as much as well as some of the others. But you know what? That's okay, because I'm not supposed to be like them. And yeah. And with that being said, I think this is getting near the end of the track work of this. Now, later in the episode, we will be getting on some detail, but I will be doing a good chunk of that off camera. So, because that'll take a long time. So, just not to bore you guys. And I'll come back to you in the next episode with the full completed ride. And with that being said, this will be the end of the track work bit of this. Now we'll be getting ready to go on to the station building of this. Now, quickly moving along with the video, now we're working on another portion of the station. Now, this station, I want to feel somewhat like how Vortex functions, but at the same time do a little bit different with it. Now, as you see, I start struggling with these here logs. I just couldn't get them because the unfortunate thing with these logs, trying to use them for anything like supporting wise or anything like that, is how long they are. I mean, I guess it's alright because I think they look nice depending on how they're used, but it just makes them so awkward to work with. So that's why I don't normally do that, but I figure since this area is tropical and all that kind of thing, I think it just needed to happen. Now, I did jump forward a little bit just to get the video along. I did some train work and that kind of stuff, and opened up the ride to people just to start getting extra money in, because just trying to get out of that situation where I no longer have to worry about having money. I just already have a stockpile of it from this coaster, because it does do a pretty decent job with the amount of money you can have. Now, I feel like I could probably have put 3 trains on this instead of the 2, but I think it just runs better when it has 2 on it. I'll see off camera, see if I should have the 2 on it or not, but in the end, I think it works just fine like it is. It just would probably be helpful. And as you see, I did add in a transfer track. I don't know if you saw this. I did add in a transfer track just to add in a little bit more realism. But at the same time, I'm not sure how practical that would be being right there. But it's helpful just to have, just a little extra place to put the trains, because you can't just have them all on the track, because then you just gotta worry about that kind of thing. So, and it's a little bit more realism than that. I think it's a nice little touch. Now, this station is slightly inspired by, what's that coaster's name? Iron Gwazi, or as some of you know, just Gwazi. That was a GCI, but has now been recently turned into a Rocky Mountain Construction RMC coaster, which is essentially just a hybrid of wood and steel. And I'll post a picture of it if I remember to, just to show kind of what the station looks like and that kind of thing. However, only with this one, I think the only difference is that, well, obviously, I'm using the logs, that kind of stuff. But, I really like the station. While it may not be the most complicated thing in the world, I think it's nice and simplistic, and I kind of like it. So, and I think the nice thatched roofs are on top of it as well. That's why I'm taking inspiration from it. Also, the thing is with station building, you gotta make it, in my opinion, when you're doing this, you gotta make it practical. You don't want to make it too big, like I'll probably will right here, as you'll see. I'll probably make it way too big. But, you don't want to be too big. You gotta make it also fit in with the land around you. So that's why in the next episode, we'll probably go around and we'll start doing some TLC and decoration, scenery, and that kind of stuff, just to make the park a little more lively. Maybe even work on that blasted entrance, because the thing is, the entrance, I still don't know what to do with that yet. It's like, I have an overall general feeling of like the theme of the park and everything. It's just I don't know what to do for the entrance. That's something I've always struggled with. So I guess with that being said, though, I guess that more experience that will help out in the long run. So I think that's what we'll do in the next episode. And now right here we are working on these little like gate things. Now I typically have started doing this. I don't know why on my coasters, but I think it just looks really, really nice, and I think it also helps out with having some extra support and making it look a little stronger, because in my opinion, if you don't have anything in the middle, I think it just makes the roof feel like a little more like quote unquote unstable, I guess. I think it's just nice to have a little bit extra, and it's also nice just to help to divide off the station a little bit. I don't know if I'm correct on this or not, but I'm pretty sure that Twisted Colossus Six Flags Magic Mountain does this as well. I think it does. I can't quite remember. It's been a while since I've been out there with all this coronavirus stuff and things lately. I haven't been able to keep track of much of anything, so it's kind of nice to sit back and talk to you guys and that kind of thing. And just have an overall good time, because it's just been absolute chaos out there. With that being said, now, what do you think is the best theme to do in park and any roller coaster manufacturing game or anything like that? Now, just overall, I think personally for me, I think I like steampunk best, mostly because I think it works the best with how this game is, and I think considering all the pieces and stuff you're gonna get you to use, and overall, I think it looks really, really epic if done correctly. And now, throughout the episode, I probably should have mentioned that you'll probably see me go out and pause a little bit, because money, as you may probably know, is still a little bit of a problem. So I may have to once in a while just take a step back and just also take a look at what I'm doing as well. Because honestly, when you're designing, the key to doing it, in my opinion, is to take a step back every now and again and just judge what you've made so far and see if you can make any tweaks, adjustments, which you still can do after you've done building it. But I think it just makes your life easier while you're actually doing it. And overall, I think it makes the outcome of it look better, because you may not think it looks the greatest at first, but then as you get to doing it and you step back and do that kind of thing, I think you'll find that it actually looks better than what you expected, and you're not so critical on yourself, because I know I can be in myself most a good portion of time, so it helps me just to take a step back every now and again and just observe what I'm actually doing so far. Now, while this building doesn't look all a whole lot like the Gwazi station. I think you kind of can see some inspiration from it. Because, I mean, the thing with the Gwazi station is that it has this little overhang thing like this. And I was trying to replicate it, or quote unquote replicate it to the best I could, but I want to add a little bit of my own style to it. So I'm adding these little boards and stuff everywhere just to make it seem a little more sturdy. Because I'm assuming in real life this would be a very heavy building. So I feel like it needs all the support it can, but even though I don't know, it just adding foliage around the ride just absolutely just helps it out. And anybody that's in the coaster community or anywhere, honestly, in any form of thing, can tell you about how foliage can help to lift up it right. Now I'm going to use for the foliage a mixture of like the adventure DLC plans and as well as just some regular in-game plans just to help add a little bit of a variety. Now eventually on an off-camera or somewhere we will be adding a little bit of a cover over this little switchback little thing right here just to protect people from the sun, rain, and all that kind of stuff, because it wouldn't be very much fun having to stand out there in the middle of all the rain, not have any kind of protection. So, I mean, I feel like we just got to, it just has to happen. Now, around here, we do end up adding a little bit of this kind of stuff. Now, personally, I wanted to add in a little, like, cover thing over this bit as well, but it just didn't quite work out that way, I guess. I don't know, I'll fiddle around with that as well, but yeah. Off camera, when we did the jump cut earlier, though, I did actually go around and did some terrain work because I wanted to give the coaster a little bit of a backdrop. That's to help set itself on. Not only that, not to just make it look like a giant pile of metal. I wanted it to feel like it's in like this little valley kind of area. So that's the only reason I put that little put the little terrain work around the back, and as well as a little water, because I feel like that just needs to. I feel like that's just necessary, because I mean, like, you're in the rainforest and / jungle sites kind of thing, so it just makes sense for there to be water everywhere. And now, as you can see here, I did add in these little windows. Now, personally, I don't know what kind of use they would have, considering they're not in the greatest of spots, but you know, it all works out. I think I think it looks really, really nice right there. You know, as we just trim around the work around the bottom here. Personally, I really, really like how this building's come out so far. Now, I probably should have added some lighting into that because I didn't think about that, but you know, like I said, we just don't talk about that. We'll come back to that in the later stage. Now, these little pole things right here, okay, I for the longest time couldn't find where they were. I think it's because I was misspelling it wrong or something like that, but I was trying to build with them the other day on a different separate project, and I just simply could not find it for the life of me. I spent like 2 hours trying to find where the freaking poles were. It turns out they were just spelled wrong. So I kind of shot myself in the foot on that one. So you never know. But more on the project later. Some of you that are in the Discord server on Channel 5 Games Discord server should know or might know about why I was looking for the polls, but at the same time, well, I'll bring it up to you in a later date. That's because of that. It's for a little contest we're doing. So yeah. And as you can see here, that's as a final little thing. We're adding a little bit of a cover over this guy because we don't want him standing out in the middle of the sun all the time. So I don't know what kind of, however, I don't know what kind of practical service this little box cube thing actually does, considering it has open things everywhere. But I think it looks really, really nice just how it is. It's not the biggest of details, but you know, I think it just helps make out a little bit more realism, because in real life they would have a cover and that kind of thing. So I feel like it needs to stay out of the shade. Now, with that being said, that's the majority of this coaster completed. So, with that being said, thanks so much for watching, and I shall